Welcome to Not Strong.
This is a podcast for men about real challenges and real growth.
Life can hit hard. What do you do when the things you've always relied upon quit working?
When the way you've always handled things just isn't enough.
When your physical, mental, and spiritual strength are put to the test?
Do you push through, hold on even tighter?
Or have you learned how to surrender? And what does that look like?
We're here to explore the human spirit with you and share what it takes to press forward through life's greatest challenges.
To tap into something bigger than ourselves and live a healthier, happier, more fulfilling life.
Join us on the Not Strong journey.
Welcome to Not Strong. My name's Kurtis Loftus.
And I'm Tim Hamby.
Not Strong, Empowering the Human Spirit. This is episode 21, and we have a good one for you guys today. This is science. We're going to get into science and the human spirit. Not that we're scientists.
No. We've been talking a lot about the spirit, so we thought it'd be interesting to bring in the subject of science.
Yeah. So first of all, though, Tim, I'm wearing this Jaguars sweatshirt. A little bit warm.
Yeah, go Jags. This is their year.
Go Jags, yeah. So we're going to brag a little bit about...
One big Monday night game coming up.
That's right. And not only that, but we've got a running back, Travis, that's probably close to the top.
Yeah.
E10, he's probably close to the
I
top.
Think he's like number 2 or something in the NFL. He's, right up there.
We have a defense that's like ball hawks. Big
time. Yeah, man, they're cooking.
Yeah. I saw a video of the Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
He is blocking like a crazy man.
Like a madman.
Like a crazy.
Good.
He must have put the guy about 20 yards back.
Yeah.
Didn't let go.
Yeah, they're all doing that.
I think our receiving core is all on point with blocks and blocking.
Yeah, blocking downfield and doing the extra, and
so much fun.
The guys all seem to be with one another and behind and supporting each other in that way. The effort and they're hitting hard.
Yeah,
fast. Like I haven't seen in the past. Like I used to see other teams hit. And I was like, well, why don't we do that?
Yeah, the speed. You'd always go, God, I wish we were that fast, and now we are.
I think a big part of it's, of course, it was roster overhaul and the coach. Cohen. He's doing fantastic, and Boselli, all those guys.
I think Boselli in that locker room and around those guys and in management, talk about a player that epitomizes the sport.
Yeah, the toughness.
But he's smart. He's tough.
All the intangibles.
He's got his expectation level is like we're going to win a Super. It's Super Bowl or nothing.
Yeah,
and so I love that guy. Always have. I've always enjoyed Tony Boselli and his approach to the game.
Averaging more than 3 turnovers a game.
Yeah, I thought that last one was it 5 turnovers at San Francisco?
At least 4. I know that. But maybe 5. But that turns games on their heads.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes up for so many other mistakes. Of course, all the penalties.
God, there was too many penalties. Come on, Jags.
But so excited for Monday night, man. If we get those guys back for putting us down in the playoffs, that'd be good.
Way to go! Yeah, go Jags, Duval. That was much better than mine. Way to go, brother. Hey, by the way, how are you feeling?
I feel good. I've had 2 infusions. This new immunotherapy that they're giving me, and I got a little rash on my cheeks, which they said would happen. But other than that, no real side effects. My strength and energy are good, and the neuropathy in my feet from getting off chemo and on immunotherapy is improving. So kind of anxious to surf. Thought I was going to surf this week.
Yeah.
The winds didn't look like they would be good on Wednesday. I originally had taken it off, and then the forecast changed, and the winds were going to muck it up all week. So I pulled out, and then sure enough, wake up on Wednesday morning, northwest winds. Well, see it on the cams.
At least you were somehow imagining or seeing yourself out in the ocean. I didn't even get it. I didn't even give myself the opportunity. I would have been.
It's just,
and we both are so busy right now, and the way our lives are, that even if you can construct a 4-hour, 3-hour period where you can disappear and surf, you're probably in.
I had it on Wednesday. I moved it to Thursday. Moved back to Wednesday, and then I finally gave up and go, well, it's not going to be any good. And sure enough, but that if there wasn't that second storm, brewing up next to our coastline, that would have been an epic swell.
I saw pictures, by the way, regardless of how gnarly and heavy it was, big, dark barrels still.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, yeah, there were some good waves
I forgot to turn off my
around
phone.
the state.
All right. We are going to pray. Thank you, Jesus, for this opportunity once again to join Tim in a conversation all about the human spirit and the grace and love and mercy you allow our spirit to move through on a daily basis. We hope that today's podcast touches lives, maybe educates, but we know this is all built around you, Jesus. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, the science and the spirit. Science and the spirit. And the way I started this with research, brother, is I just asked the simple question, what kind of science will support the idea or the existence of the human spirit? Where is it in science? Which sciences will do that, right? And so there's consciousness studies going on, and the world of the consciousness is like deep. So I don't even know if we can travel down that rabbit hole today. Consciousness, conscious state. That's
neuroscience.
All that. It's kind of that's an interesting one. And we're going to hit stuff that we're not qualified to talk about, but we're going to pretend we can talk about it. Right?
I've seen the movie Inception.
That one, yeah.
The different levels of dreams.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll use that. Then there's the, and Margaret and I, my wife and I have been doing a little bit of this lately, the near-death experience stuff.
I've seen a lot of interesting things on.
There's a lot of those stories. There's a gentleman, I think he studied over the last 15, 20 years of his life. He was like an engineer. And this dude ended up I think his dad gave him a book forever ago. And it was about a near-death experience, and he read about this, and he was like, and I think it was tied to his dad's death eventually. And then he just was like really interested in studying and learning more. And so he started researching. This is an engineer that was essentially an atheist, agnostic. And he started studying more of these stories, and now he's collected over 1,000 stories. And, they're impressive, powerful stories about what has happened in these people's lives, men, women, atheists, Christian, it's all over the place. And what happens when they died. And a lot of threads of similarity going through, what's people can argue is that the brain shutting down, all that kind of stuff. But I just know every one of those people talked about how much they loved being outside of their body or in this other space, in this other place. They they loved it. They loved it. They didn't want to
come back.
They didn't want to come back. Right. Yeah. So that's an interesting one. And then the mind-body connection, which is called psychoneuroimmunology. Immunology. We're not going to go on that one, I don't think. No. Quantum and physical or physiological approaches. I like the quantum space because it's so wild and mysterious, and it's when they get into the particle wave versus particles and how just energy works and everything about quantum is crazy because they talk about stuff that's entanglement and stuff that is something that can happen that's here and then literally if the particles are tied together or something, actions and reactions can be happening like simultaneously in totally different parts of space and time. Like I'm messing it up a little, but I just think the quantum theory, quantum physics stuff. There's some notes in here. I'll pretend like I've studied and know what I'm talking about, but there's some cool stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then basically, strong science does not confirm the existence of the human spirit as a separate metaphysical entity, but strong science does confirm that humans experience consciousness, meaning, transcendence, and spiritual status. So, there is an alignment, with science and what's going on with us as humans and this other part of us, which is that supernatural or metaphysical thing, right? Right? So we'll have fun with that today. And then I did ask also wanted to know about, when you have science and theologians, or, scientists and theologians kind of merging in their ideas and concepts, do they come to some things that are supported biblically, scripturally? Mm-hmm. So I thought that would be worthy also to kind of dig into that. And then I told you, can you go find some C.S. Lewis? Because it's always great to sprinkle C.S. Lewis into this conversation, because he was that atheist for so much of his life. And then he finally decided, my gosh, there's just too much here. Yeah. I can't keep running. Yeah. So, as a matter of fact, will you hit me up with some C.S. Lewis?
Yeah. So, basically, his position was that science can't prove God, but it can't disprove God. So, he said that science, by its nature, it studies the natural world, things you can observe, measure, test. And God, if he exists, is outside of that. He's the creator of nature. So science isn't really equipped to confirm or deny the existence of God. And he had a really neat quote. He said, he wrote that asking science to disprove God is like asking geometry to prove poetry false.
Right. Yeah.
It's two separate things. And he pointed out that, science reveals order, not meaning. He said that science can reveal how things work, but not why they exist or what they mean. So for him, meaning and purpose, morality, and the supernatural are outside the scope of empirical science. So he said that the core claims of Christianity, like the incarnation or resurrection, are historical and metaphysical claims, and they're not scientific hypotheses. They're just different. He said he believed that there was a lot of things he called signposts, clues within the universe that pointed to the existence of God, the intelligibility of nature, the moral law within humans, our sense of longing for something beyond the material world. He said that they weren't scientific proofs, but they were signals. And so, he talked about that stuff in Mere Christianity, which we've discussed before. He thought that Christianity was a religion that you couldn't have guessed, you couldn't have made it up, because it's so unusual, so odd in so many ways, but that it also fits well together. He said that on miracles and science, he said like a miracle isn't a violation of a natural law, but it's in addition to it. A new cause introduced by God. Science can't rule miracles out because science only studies what normally happens when no supernatural causes exist, right?
Right.
He looked at faith and reason, science and spirit as compatible, things that sit side by side. That's kind of, that kind of, I guess, sums up his major viewpoint on the subject. He said that, and we've talked about this before, if you go, in that book, everything begins with this moral law. He says that all of us, there's something inside of us, a feeling, he calls it, ought, O-U-G-H-T, that we have this sense inside of us that we ought to behave a certain way. We ought to love others. We ought to be honest. We ought to sacrifice for people that we love, and he called that the law of human nature. He said there is a moral law, and he said kids know when they're being bad or when they're being good. They know it instinctively.
Yeah.
And so he said if there's a law, then there must be a lawgiver.
Yeah.
Somebody who put that in us. And that's another sign. It's not a verifiable thing. It's just a clue to him, and kind of one of the things, that there was this moral dimension, and that's kind of where everything, began. And he also pointed to the sense of longing in people, longing for joy, longing for connection with things that are bigger than us. And he says that these kind of longings, they show up in art, they show up in romance, in beauty, nostalgia, not just wanting more of the same pleasures, but a desire for something that is qualitatively different. Again, to have a union with God. And he said that this, simply because that feeling exists, says that there must be something out there that we're longing for. Kind of that. This is not our home.
Sure.
Kind of points to that. So,
Do you think
that was interesting?
Yeah. No. And by the way, we were talking about the biopic, the show I watched the other night with C.S. Lewis. It was narrated by an actor, and it was beautifully done. And it moves from him as atheist into a Christian, and how he became the Christian. And what was fascinating, and I wonder again about today's, it's not that this is the standard out there, but gosh, the way he spent his early years in study and books and just
nonstop, and with other great thinkers.
Oh yeah, Tolkien was
pitching in their ideas about how things work.
Extraordinary. So you've got these minds that are just uber smart, and then they're challenging each other, but at the same time, conclusions are literally has to be a creator. And this thing, eventually, and what we're imbued with, this spirit, this whole, divine energy, it is, in my feeling, we are still trying to understand it. We're still trying to wrestle with what it is and how it works and how can it help us, So,
I mean, and obviously, some things, are incomprehensible, by our little minds, and that's part of the problem is we can't come close to really understanding all the things of God.
So here's what I got: modern theologians and scientists trying to merge the quantum theory with spirituality.
Okay.
All right. So here's some fun ones. A gentleman, John Polkinghorne. He was a physicist and theologian, Anglican priest. So argued that quantum uncertainty leaves room for divine action and spirit. The universe isn't a closed mechanical system. Saw human consciousness and spirit as deeply real, not reducible to matter, and possibly aligned with the quantum indeterminacy. Oh gosh, some of this is going to blow my mind. So Roger Penrose and Stuart Hamerhoff, they are Nobel Prize in Physics 2020. Hamerhoff proposed that consciousness emerges from quantum events in microtubules. Quantum events in microtubules inside neurons. So now we're into consciousness, and that's where I wanted to stay out of. But, the science of this is mind-blowing. They suggest that because these processes are non-computable, consciousness might connect to a deeper layer of reality, something beyond standard biology. Because, I don't think it's, how do you explain this?
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. There's a gentleman, Henry Stapp. He was a quantum physicist at UC Berkeley, believes consciousness is an essential part of quantum mechanics itself, argues that the observer effect, I've heard this one, where measuring changes in outcome, hints that mind-spirit is woven into physical reality, suggests human choices may influence physical outcomes through quantum processes, leaving space for free will and soul. Oof. Oh, Teilhard de Chardin, philosopher and Jesuit priest, long before modern quantum physics, he imagined the universe evolving toward greater consciousness, what he called the omega point. Today, some reinterpret his vision through a quantum lens, suggesting that consciousness/spirit is the universe becoming aware of itself.
Interesting.
Woo. And then they say, caution you, because whenever you do your ChatGPT research, which I do a lot of that now, and I know I have to be careful with it. I've been told, be careful with it. But most physicists are skeptical about mixing quantum theory with theology because quantum mechanics already has enough open questions without adding metaphysical claims. So where it leaves us, the human spirit as a measurable, independent entity is not proven. No. But here's supported by frontier thought. Consciousness may not be fully reducible to classical physics. And quantum theory gives us models where non-material aspects like spirit are at least possible. So there it is. And then I went to biblical references for us. Felt like, okay, can we get to, which you and I, you challenged me on it. I thought, okay, it's worthy of, getting to places in the Bible where the spirit is brought into the forefront and consciousness. Genesis 2:7. You probably know this one by heart. Then the Lord God formed man of dust from the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. One man became a living soul. So that's Genesis. And then Job 32:8. But it is the spirit in man, the breath of the Almighty, that gives him understanding. So breath, spirit, that's us. Right?
Yeah. God breathed.
But can we explain it?
I don't know. You can explain it again. There's
What do we do with this spirit thing?
What's that?
What do we do with this spirit thing that we struggle over? Why do you think God left us to struggle with the spirit?
I think he left the spirit with us to help us.
I know, but you spend enough time with yourself and you realize how clumsy and bumbling you can be and how just inept and backwards.
I think being imbued with the Spirit of God is, such a gift.
Yeah, shouldn't we be? That's what I'm saying. Shouldn't we be amazed by it?
Yeah, for sure.
Why do we overlook it? Why do we decide that we want to use it and in ways that aren't to our benefit? What is that about our human nature? It's just crazy, I mean, from the beginning of time, divine spirit, here you are. Go be, multiply, all that. But we can't seem to get along. We do a lot of things the wrong way, Tim. I'm sorry. I don't know. I probably didn't want to lead into a question like that with you, but you're up against this really extraordinary thing that makes us more than just any other animal, with our qualities of human spirit and our consciousness and our just everything that we get to just experience in a life, and we take it for granted. We just do.
Well,
I should have looked that up. What percentage take the human spirit for granted? That would be a great one. Yeah. What do you think it is?
I don't know.
I bet it's.
Who knows? There's a lot.
I bet most people take the human spirit for granted.
But yeah, we're humans are, living in a world infected by sin since those, first days. And so, yeah, it's our human nature that, I think messes up everything that the Spirit should have given us. And, but, we still have the Spirit inside of us. And, we're not God, we're not the Son of God, but we do have the Holy Spirit inside of us, and it's powerful. And I think we can tap into it and do often. We're using it to the extent that that we could. No, we're infected by sin and living in a world of sin. And I think those things are always pulling against each other. Our human nature. And our God nature,
Do you think we are? I think we're going to obviously learn, especially now that AI is coming online. We're going to learn a lot about the Spirit that we didn't know before. I mean, if we're pointing AI in the right direction.
Yeah,
I know that's a catch-22. We got to sort of point it towards, an answer. Or not, see, you don't want to come up with an answer. You want it to help us understand, right? Mm-hmm. Understand the Spirit. Understand it's, and you would say, Kurtis, it's not even, why even spend time and energy worrying about where it and how it exists, how this thing works. But if more of humankind had respect for the Spirit, don't you think they'd be better human beings? Yes, absolutely. I think so too. In relationship, we can be, and how much better we can be.
The way that the AI could help with things of this nature is by giving us more time, free up time, be more productive, to give us time to rest in ourselves, to be reflective, to pray, to study,
but do you think
be more present, mindful, those kinds of things.
Back to the AI, you're saying, well, if it frees up the worldly stuff we have to do, which allows the peace and sort of the energy of, just in prayer, going to God and learning to trust and be with Him, be with Him, which is the best thing we can do. Even when we're with Him, I think humans get in the way. The ego can get in the way. The clock will get in the way. The time. It's like we aren't designed to rest like we should be, and be in that relationship as much as we should be. I don't think we're designed right now. Our world doesn't let us do that, Tim. So if AI says, hey, these are the things you need to do in order for peace, harmony, joy, that fellowship that you desire to be stronger, hope, all the things that come from beautiful Christian type principles, they're all built around the Spirit. But getting the Spirit rested is super hard in today's world.
Yeah.
So, will AI maybe, help science and help theologians, help us as humans? Just, hey, if you really want a better life, pay attention to these things. I asked also, just for curiosity's sake, are there some pretty cool human spirit, other kind of extraordinary examples of how the human spirit has demonstrated itself in a crisis time, or and there's some neat stories out there. I got one here that now this is a strength one. I don't know, it must have happened, but it was in 1982. This Angela Cavallo of Georgia lifted a Chevrolet Impala off her son, who was pinned underneath while working on it.
Yeah.
Did you hear that one?
Yeah.
The car weighed over 3,000 pounds.
Yeah.
3,000 pounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lady lifts up a car.
That's crazy.
Yeah. The scientists describe this as extreme adrenaline. So, but even that, come on, give us that as like an improbable extreme adrenaline. So the mind, body, spirit can pull that off.
Yeah.
I mean, that would break a person's back normally.
Yeah.
Trying to lift a 3,000 pound.
How does that happen? It's supernatural.
Yeah. So that's just suggesting in a crisis, the spirit calls forth hidden reserves. It's just nuts. How about this? This is a near-death experience where a woman diagnosed with end-stage cancer, Anita Morhani, she fell into a coma in 2006. Doctors believe she had hours to live. While unconscious, she reported an out-of-body experience in which she realized her spirit was limitless and deeply loved. She awoke with sudden clarity, and within weeks, her cancer had nearly vanished.
Mm-hmm. People have shared stories like that with me, and since I've been diagnosed, and I've seen several different videos of people talking about their experience and relying exclusively on prayer and other things to heal themselves and just miraculous healing.
They bring the 33 Chilean miners. Remember the miners that were trapped?
Some of the what?
The Chilean miners, 33 of those. So they talk about 69 days, little food, minimal, there's no light, all this psychological trauma.
Yeah.
So do you know what they did?
What's that?
They prayed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their shared spirit of faith, prayer, and brotherhood. Mm-hmm. NASA scientists studied their case because human endurance under those conditions should have collapsed.
There's one on Netflix about 3 children in a plane crash who got lost in the Amazon, I think it was. Yeah, in the jungle. And the military came to, it may have been the Philippines. It was the Amazon. But it was really, it's on, it was just on recently. And same thing. They were out there for days and days and days. Little kids, 3 of them, a family. Parents were killed. And so, the military and then, local villagers went out looking for them. And on the last day that they were about to give up the search, they ended up finding these kids. But it was the same sort of circumstances. Like nobody could even comprehend how they could have survived.
Do you imagine we, again, and I think I've asked this question out loud before, do we limit ourselves in what the possibilities? Just automatically, just automatically. Do we just because?
I think that's probably a human tendency to do for sure.
Yeah, we probably, in some unfortunate way, we just decide it's not possible, and so we go at it with that in our mind, which is self-defeating. Yeah, doesn't make sense. Why would we do that? And then and we've had these conversations, when you say I'm going to be all right, we fully know, or at least understand that all things are possible. Mm-hmm. So you have to understand that. If that's not true to your soul, spirit, all things are possible, then you're missing something.
That's right.
Yeah, you're unfortunately you are missing the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, again, I think all of these stories are people either didn't even have time to reflect on it.
Yeah.
They just said, this is what I got to do. We're saying science and spirit because we know science is intertwined with this. Yeah. We're on the verge of so many miraculous things because of science and because of doctors and because of
they work together.
Because of our energies and our which I've already said, our understanding of hope, faith, everything that's tied to the spirit. There's Wim Hof is in here, by the way.
A Wim Hof?
Yeah,
No?
yeah.
That's what they say about him.
Yeah, just say that, he holds record for surviving extreme cold exposure, like running a half marathon barefoot in the Arctic snow. I didn't know he did that.
Yeah.
Did you know?
Yeah. No,
a half marathon?
Yeah, he's done all kinds
That's
of
great.
crazy stuff.
His breathing and focus techniques allow him to regulate his immune response. So he's controlling his immune system through breathing. Body temperature in ways scientists are still studying. So this guy is intentionally using what he knows is his core spirit and his sense of what is possible.
Yeah.
Like he's one of those, I'm not going to limit myself to what human, the normal human sort of theories or tendencies, assumptions. Thank you. It's I'm going to behave this way.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the way that they teach free divers. A lot of people go through that, and you have to break that mold of what you inherently think is possible. And it's just like in his breathing exercises, he'll sit there and say those words. Do what the body is capable of doing. Let it do its thing. And but to understand, the body's capable if you allow it. It is a way of thinking and believing and knowing. So it's real interesting what people can do. And you're an endurance athlete. You've broken through those barriers, having to do that in the surfing competition, right? Yeah,
the surfing wasn't as hard. I don't want to downplay it, but it wasn't as hard as the paddling. My Island Beach paddling efforts. That was that has been the one that's
pushing through barriers,
bedeviled me. Yeah, because that's a 24-hour one too. But the endurance in that is next level, and you have to fight winds in a different way and tides in a different way, and all the variables that come against you. And again, surfing and the ocean are the same, but we were intentional when we did those. I mean, I picked good days. I put myself in the best case scenarios, but when I've tried my Island Beast going 76 miles around the island, intercoastal and then the ocean, no stopping. That, my friend, will test the head and heart and the human spirit.
You think about, all these athletes who do these extreme things and, the first 5-minute mile, the first 4-minute mile, all these different things. And you go, okay, is it physiological evolution? Is it our body's changing and now we're able to do this? We're bigger, stronger, whatever, or is part of breaking through these mental barriers going, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
This person can, drop in on a 30-foot wave. I can drop in on a 35 one and not die. Yeah. And, I can drop in on a 50-foot wave and not die. I can run a mile in 5 minutes. And, obviously you got to have, some of the physiological traits that allow that stuff. But so much of it is internal. Spirit driven.
Yeah. Every marathoner, I can guarantee, has a serious marathoner has put themselves in that place of. Yeah, they'll all tell you it's no longer physical. It's all here.
Yeah.
It's all the last 3 miles, the last mile, whatever. It's all up here.
Yeah. You prepare yourself so that you can believe.
But dude,
ultimately you got to have that belief.
And I cannot let the pain get in my way, because the pain will be the biggest thing. Your brain will be, telling you all sorts of stories about stopping, because the mind is trying to save itself. The mind is like, you are in trouble. And so, please stop. You're going to die. Like, but you don't. You move through and get this done spiritually, and the body
there is a distinction between mental and spiritual.
Yeah, and that's where it just happens, and it's like crazy, unbelievable. Wow, we don't give that enough credit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Check this one out. Viktor Frankl. This is my last one. He's the psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, author of Man's Search for Meaning, Survived Starvation, Torture, the Loss of His Family. And he did it by holding on to meaning, that belief that suffering could be redeemed by love and purpose. So he is literally, everything is taken except love. He's like, that's where redemption's going to come, is love. So he writes, those who have a why to live can bear almost any how.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Wow, isn't that powerful?
Yeah, it is. A lot of hope in that.
Yeah. His spirit sustained him when biology, by all accounts, should not have. Yeah, that's crazy. That's good stuff. All right, well, we rambled through some stuff. We hit on some things. This was supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
I think we had some things that were, we'll edit. I'll edit. But I did have a prayer. So this is kind of cool. I asked for this prayer after seeing some side-by-sides with science and the biblical, scriptural things tied and woven together, and there was all sorts of stuff we didn't talk about, but I asked for a prayer, and it was a good one. So this is, if it's cool, how I'd like to end. It's called Prayer of Wonder and Spirit. Lord of heaven and earth, you breathed life into dust and gave us spirit, a mystery deeper than we can ever measure. We marvel at the wonders of creation, galaxies stretched across the skies, particles smaller than the eye can see, and the hidden rhythms that hold all things together. Thank you for granting us a spirit that perceives beauty, seeks truth, and longs for you in the silence between thoughts. When science opens windows and into the unknown, remind us that every mystery is a gift, an invitation to awe, a whisper of your eternal presence. Lift our spirits, Lord, so we do not shrink before mystery, but rise with gratitude and courage, knowing that in you we live and move and have our being. Amen.
Yeah, that's really beautiful.
It's like, man, it's when you do that stuff at like nighttime, which is usually when I end up, it's like sometime around 8:30, I'm doing some research and studying, and my gosh, it's 11 o'clock and I'm waking Margaret up. Hey, Margaret, get this. And I'm reading a prayer to her. It's so encouraging. I mean, there's enough for us to continue to be encouraged and encourage the audience with when it comes to the human spirit. I'm always grateful, Tim.
Yeah, there is so much mystery in it.
Gosh, yeah.
And, we're not going to research our way to the bottom of it, which is probably a good thing. But, just like that prayer said, embrace the mystery, and, that in itself is a gift,
Yeah. And we have potentially a pastor joining us. Your pastor, Richard.
We do, yeah. Next week. So we're trying to nail down the exact day, but it's going to be, one day after work next week. He's going to come sit with us.
He's not as big as Joe Zelenka, is he?
No, he's about half Joe's size. So we'll
Are we going to turn the table again, maybe?
We probably will. I think maybe that works better for when we have a guest. I kind of like it this way.
For you and I.
Just us, but I'll probably spin it around. So we'll see. Yeah, but that should be a good one. He's a good guy, fun guy, and super knowledgeable about all things. I thought we'd continue the discussion we were having on death and suffering. We're kind of going through some of that stuff. He is, and so we'll explore that a little further.
Yeah, I think it's one of those we talk about because, one, it's real, and two, we know that it's not something that fully defines even when we're facing things like tough, medical things in our life.
Yeah.
It's like, well, okay, I understand that, but how do doesn't mean much to me right now.
Yeah.
Today's today.
That's right.
I get to
same way.
I get to spend it in this, with this wonderful audience and with you. And so that's always great.
Being in the moment.
Go Jags.
Yeah, go Jags.
Go Jags. And we will see you guys next week. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Not strong.